Welcome to the first edition of Ice Hockey UK in association with McDonald's in Eindhoven, Netherlands. Behind us here is GB's home for the next week, the National Ice Hockey Centrum here in Eindhoven. A lovely venue and a lovely city for the World Championship Division 1B tournament. Great Britain come here, of course, under new head coach Pete Russell. They arrived here yesterday. We wouldn't have been doing this interview outside yesterday. Pouring with rain it was to greet GB on their bumpy flight as well from the UK. Landed in Amsterdam, a couple of hours on the bus. They were straight on the ice yesterday, and then an evening meal and some downtime, and then today breakfast. And as I say, they're in that arena now undergoing a real big training session ahead of their first game. 5 big games for GB in their quest in the Division 1B World Championship, and they are ready. They're focused. This new, young-looking and energetic squad under Pete Russell all ready for this year's World Championship. Well, we'll look ahead to the tournament. We'll speak to some of the key personnel over the next few minutes. Plenty of angles and plenty of people to talk to, starting with a man who it is a massive proud moment for. He won the under-20s gold earlier in the season, and he did that with the GB under-20s. He was then appointed, of course, as head coach of GB men. That, of course, is Pete Russell, and we caught up with him ahead of a massive week for him and the team. GB head coach Pete Russell, it's the eve of your first World Championship as the men's head coach. Tell me how you're feeling.
I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming, and last week proved we're coming together, and hopefully we take that form and the way we played into the next 5 games. You know, it's that simple.
Personally though, when you set out as a coach all those years ago, was this something you aimed for and dreamed of?
Well, I think you can always dream of things, but I never really thought it would ever come. But it's here, and it's and I'm enjoying it, and you learn more and more every day you do it, and we get a great group of people off the ice and a great group of people on the ice that support it, and I think that's making it an easier job.
You've had success with the juniors, the under-20s this year, of course, got gold in Estonia. How are you finding the differences? Are there more pressures each morning you wake up as the men's head coach?
I don't think so. I don't really feel things like that. I put pressure on myself more than anybody. We're just here to be better than we were last year, and anything else is a bonus. But that doesn't mean we won't try to win every single game we turn up for. Of course we will. But there can't be too much pressure. We changed the team a lot, and so far it's been pretty positive, the changes, I think.
And you talk about changing the team. How do you think they did those 2 games against Poland before you came out? You won them both. They're a Division 1A team now, Poland. How do you think the team did?
I thought they bought into the new philosophy well. I thought we were really aggressive, we were quick. I thought our power play was great. The guys were unbelievable on there. We got good players on there. It makes it easier to coach good players in the power play. They make you look good. But I thought our D-zone was really good. I thought we battled hard, and I thought we created battles in the forecheck to make offence, and it worked. You know, we scored a lot of goals.
What's the main things that you want from your GB players this tournament?
Oh, I think to stick together and not get outworked. We got to keep speed on the rush, because we tend to slow down sometimes, and we're not going to create offence without speed. And I think just to be reliable and responsible to each other as a group.
Career out on the ice at the moment, they probably will be one of your biggest threats. Do you identify any other threats this tournament, you know, big threats?
I think every team's a decent team. I think we all know the top 2 are got a lot of dual nationals, and they're going to be tough to play against, but you know, everybody's beatable.
How do you kind of keep the team focused for such a long tournament? What are the key elements to keep teams in line, really?
I don't think you have to. I think the group are really focused to try and achieve something great, and they're excited to be here. It's easy when they're like that. It's just making sure you pick the right characters to put in the group, and right now there's a happy group in there. They're smiling, they're working hard, they do anything you're asking, they're bonding, and I think it's a great thing. So far it's been a fantastic trip.
Yeah, you mentioned the kind of bonding and stuff. How important is that? You know, once you get here, the togetherness, that's almost a head start, isn't it, if you can get everyone on the same page?
Yeah, for sure, and it's probably been easier doing this team than it is doing the 20s. The 20s you do a lot of team building games, and you try, because they're all young, these guys know each other and they know what they want, and that makes it a bit easier. You just come in, you see really what you want from them, and they've been fantastic. I can't ask for any more. Maybe I've been a bit lucky so far, but they've been great.
Croatia then on Monday. I think maybe last year Croatia kind of caught GB a bit flat-footed. You know, what can you do to ensure that doesn't happen again? Oh,
I think we know what we're up against. 7 or 8 dual nationals with IHL experience, and guys know that, but we're not scared of them, not for a minute. I'm not scared of anybody.
The thoughts of GB head coach Pete Russell there. So a big week for Great Britain. Games to come against Netherlands, Korea, Lithuania and Estonia in the coming days. But the first one is against Croatia. A big game for GB. They lost 4-0 to Croatia in last year's tournament in Lithuania. So hopefully a very different outcome this time around. The boys are just undergoing, as you can see, a big training session. Always important, this one, the final big one before the game against Croatia. So let's catch up with some of the players. In a moment, Ben O'Connor, but first, in his first World Championship tournament, Jonathan Boxill. Well, Jonathan Boxill, you're very close now to your first World Championship. You're here in the rink in Eindhoven. How are you feeling?
I feel great. It's obviously been a pretty smooth travel day. A couple of days on the ice with the boys, which has been good. A lot of chemistry out there. So yeah, it's been a very good ride so far.
And what about the spirit in the camp? It's kind of a new era, isn't it, under Pete Russell? Lots of new faces. You're one of them. How do you feel the spirit is?
Oh, it's very good. We've got great leadership with those guys that have been here and played a lot of caps over the years. So the young guys are obviously myself who are excited for the opportunity we've been given by Pete, and we're looking forward to making the most of it.
And what about the championships? Who do you think will be your biggest threats over the next week?
I think we can't really take anyone for granted. We were fortunate to see Croatia practice when we got here, and they look like a very, very good team. So we're just going to worry about ourselves, and we're looking forward to every single game that we're going to have over the championships.
You played a couple of games against Poland as a team to warm up. With them in the division above, how valuable was that for the team?
It was very good. Obviously, Guy said last year that they were a very, very good quality team, and we got to see over the past 2 days what they were all about. And we put in 2 very good performances, 2 wins, which is a good sign. And yeah, I think it was important as well that the system which Pete has implemented was working. So that's a very good sign for the future.
Obviously, you didn't play in the second game. You had a little knock. Everything okay now?
Yeah. It was obviously a bit of a knock there, and obviously it's something that you just need to be careful with, and that's why I sat the game yesterday, and I feel fine. Had a skate today and feel great, so I'm looking forward to Monday and getting on the road.
I know when we spoke before, you talked about how proud you were to be in the initial squad, then the 23. Now that you're here and you're living and breathing it, how proud are you?
Oh, it's obviously a very, very proud moment for me in my career. It's something that anyone who's come through junior development in the UK this is really the pinnacle for it. And some of the names, some of the guys that you look around the room, and the experiences they've had, and the places they've played, and the success they've had over the years is quite astonishing. So just to be mentioned with those guys is a real honour, and I'm really looking forward to making the most of my opportunity here with the national team, and hopefully doing what I can to get promotion and get a medal.
And then on the other kind of side of the coin, there's guys your age that you've grown up with and basically been your friends for a long time. How does it feel to be out here with guys that you've known for such a long time?
Yeah, it's good that you get to talk about old stories, and when you played here, when you played there, and when you played together. So it's nice to sort of relive those memories, and now we're all coming together and pushing in the same direction to push GB and push the national team in the right, where we want to be, and that's in the pool of love, and continue with that, with the growth of the sport in the country.
Ben O'Connor, welcome. The first few days at the World Championship, just a couple of days away. How are you feeling as a team?
Yeah, good. We just got here today. We've landed and straight on the ice, which is good. Get the plane legs out, the travel legs, and it's good. Came off 2 good wins against Poland, so good practice today, same tomorrow, and leading into the game Monday.
How important were those games against Poland? They were good opposition, don't you think?
Well, I think it's fantastic opposition. They're in the group above us, and they're fast. They're very fast, physical team, and to play them in 2 exhibition games is a great warm-up coming to this tournament. It makes everyone's game step up, and makes you move the puck quicker, makes you think quicker, makes you react all around faster. And I think that was a great opposition. I think it was a great job by Andy and Pete and the guys who put that together. I think that was a perfect game for us to play.
And obviously it's kind of a level that you want to aspire to, because they're in that level above.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no disrespect to Holland in the past. We played them in the past, and it's always been they're in our group, and it's it wasn't. I mean, we haven't seen an intensity as a pre-tournament game like that for a long time. So for a team to be in a higher group than us, which is faster than us, it makes us pick up our game, and I think we showed by the end of it that we can keep up and outskate them.
You're obviously coming here for a medal. Who are your biggest threats, do you think?
Well, I think we just got to take it one game at a time. I mean, Croatia last year had a really good team, so we just got to take it one game at a time. And we all know you get a win on the board, your first game, you're already in the hunt for a medal. So we just got to take it one game at a time at this type of tournament. We can't single out one team, and you know, you can't have any hiccups, so it's just one game at a time, one day at a time.
That was full of cliches. You've got a new coaching staff here and quite a few new players. You know, the spirit seems quite good, and it almost feels like a new exciting era. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you can see being around the team that everyone's happy, everyone's on the same page, and as you can see from the dressing room, everyone's laughing, joking. When it comes down to business, we're getting the job done, and we just got to carry that into the tournament.
So the thoughts of Jonathan Boxill, and before that Ben O'Connor, looking ahead to GB's big game against Croatia. Well, join me now on the media gantry. It's a very cramped place up here, but it's where all the media work. It's the TV gantry, and the radio journalists are here. And there's a familiar face behind us, someone that many people will know well, the BBC Olympic sport commentator Seth Bennett, of course, very well connected with the Sheffield Steelers, followed them for many years on the BBC, and now, of course, does the Steelers TV live. And he at the moment is just busy talking to a member of the media. Welcome, Seth. How are you doing? Are you all right? Now, you were talking, I remember the other day, about the World Championship and covering it for the BBC. When was your first World Championship?
Oh, 2001 in Slovenia. And I was just looking back at some of the players that played then, and GB went so close. It all went down to that final game. I think Slovenia won, was it 16-1, something like that. And that was enough for them to go through on goal difference. I think at that time, each of the Slovenian players won themselves a Skoda. I think each of the GB players would have won themselves probably nothing more than they already were going to get with their expenses and their per diem. So it really did give an idea. And that, of course, was the chance to go up to Pool A, and it would have been a chance to go and have that second opportunity with the big boys. What's
so special about a World Championship tournament?
I think this is the moment, isn't it, that we look at the Elite League. You and I watch it on a regular basis, and we say, yeah, you know what, we've got a good league. The rest of Europe doesn't give us enough respect. Well, you've then got to go to the World Championships, and that's where the quality of the Elite League is judged by the rest of the world. Are GB good enough to be in the top 20? Are GB good enough to be in the top 12? Because you, me, and everybody at home should hopefully want GB to be at an Olympic Games, because that's a game changer in terms of the support in the UK and what's going to happen with regards to getting media coverage. So I think that's what we've got to try and build towards, and that's why these moments are important. Once a year you get a chance to say, yeah, how tall am I, how much do I weigh, and where do I rank amongst everybody else in world hockey.
You watched the two games against Poland, you commentated them on IHUK TV. What you saw there, can GB medal, can they get gold, what do you think?
Well, I think there's a possibility. I think it's going to be really tough. You know, first game right off the bat is going to be really hard against a really good Croatian team. You know, you look back at the stats, and GB absolutely hammered Croatia. I think it was about 10-1 the final score in Slovenia in 2001. You look at where the two teams have gone since then, and they've taken different ways to get to this tournament. I think that's going to be really hard. For me, Croatia are the favourites to win this. I think GB, although they're the highest seed, I think that they're maybe second or third favourite. To get a medal here would represent progress to me. To get promotion is going to be really tough. 4 wins minimum is what they need. You know, how many teams do we know that win 5 in a row?
Well, they got 3 wins last year, and they didn't even get a medal.
Yeah,
and the group's not too dissimilar. A couple of team changes. So
the big question is, what's going to happen with Korea? How good are they going to be? They've put a lot of money into their system. Jimmy Pack as well, who we all know so well, is somebody that is gearing them up towards an Olympic Games, and they've got to show some progress within this tournament. And then you're forgetting about the hosts. They're going to have the home support, they're going to have the evening game all the way through. They're going to be the team that is well rested all the way through, because everybody else is going to play a morning and then an afternoon, or an evening and then an early afternoon game, if you like. So you do have to look at that and say, well, it does favour the home team in some way. I don't think the Dutch are going to be good enough, though, to be able to win this. But it's going to be interesting, isn't it? That Saturday night game for Great Britain, that's the game that everybody's anticipating will be a sellout. There's going to be quite a few more people coming across as well. But for me, the most important thing is Croatia. How are GB going to come out? Pete Russell has breathed a new life into GB. But we're a nation in decline hockey-wise. We've not been good at each of the last 3 international tournaments that we've competed in. And, that to me tells us an awful lot. We didn't win a game at the Olympic qualifiers against really good opposition. We then struggled and got relegated at the World Championships the same year. We then were unable to get promoted, and as you mentioned, there were those 3 wins, but it wasn't a really good tournament. And you think the victory against Poland was when Poland were already through. So I think you have to take that into context. This is a country, a nation that needs to turn around, and I think that Pete's done a lot of that. They have an identity from how they played within those games. And Poland were a really good test, and I think that particularly the second game I saw lots of things that I like. It's younger, it's got energy, and they skate very well. The question is going to be scoring for me. Are they going to be able to put up 3 goals a game throughout the whole of this tournament? If they do that, they'll get a medal. My question is, though, will the power plays be good enough? Will either of the units that he decides to use, who's going to boss that? For me, Chris Blight's got to get himself 3 or 4 goals in this tournament. We've got to see the best of Lakovic, we've got to see the best of Robert Dowd, and then Shields has got to do what he did last year, which was score 5 goals.
Fascinating insight there, Seth Bennett. All his stuff's here. I don't know whether we can just get a look at it. This is what he'll use to bring you the commentaries, and you've been busy also with your notes here as well, Seth.
Colourful stuff, isn't it?
Colourful stuff, but that's all of Seth's notes for the big game. You can catch Seth on the BBC Sport website. He'll also be giving us analysis on the Ice Hockey UK TV YouTube channel after each game, so that'll be fascinating as well. But commentary from Seth and various people from GB on the BBC Sport website. There's also live coverage on television as well on Premier Sports. Aaron Murphy and Paul Adey will be bringing you that. And if you're not around your computer or your TV, follow us on Twitter at Team GB Ice Hockey, at Team GB Ice Hockey. They are the places where you can find. The atmosphere in this rink is building already, and it's only the day before the first game. You can tell it's going to be a good old barn to watch hockey. All those ways you can watch the games, and they are going to be fascinating games for GB, and let's see how the tournament unfolds. But you join us in those ways you can. Cross your fingers for the GB tournament. We'll be following them every step of the way.